Okay, this video is on Rick and Morty with the last few episodes. I already did a video on the first episode for season 3. I'll put the link below. This is only the ones that come after. MarMar101 is again in the video.
Yep, I'm back again.
Yep, we're doing this because we're going back to school, different places. Thought, hey, why not do this video?
Yeah, we won't be able to see Rick and Morty together anymore, which is kind of sad, but we were like, hey, you know, what the hell, let's do a video real quick on, well, she did one episode 1, but I'll give my 2 cents on it, and then, you know, do 2, 3, and 4 before we go back to school. I mean, she's going back to Monterey, and I'm going back to Merced, so, you know, that's why we're doing this, spur of the moment, 3rd video today, hopefully it's our last one, so, but yeah, but what she said, yeah, the first episode, which everybody remembers because it was probably the best April Fool's Day joke ever, and that was, it was just an awesome, the Rick Shake redemption, excuse me.
Rick Redemption?
Rick Redemption.
So many Ricks.
They just want to add Rick to everything now. But that was a great episode. Basically everything she said in the episode was basically also what I thought. That's where she gets all her ideas from me. Just saying.
Instead of Wikipedia,
but,
Rickopedia.
yeah, it was a great episode. But moving on from that, I mean, yeah, actually not even moving on. This show was great. It was a great kickstart, and it did show like how dark the show was turning. So, which it has if you have been watching episode 2, 3, and 4. It is changing into a whole different like path. But yeah, so I guess let's just move on to episode 2, 3, and 4 because episode 1 came out so long ago.
Yep. Rick Mancing the Stone, episode 2.
The Mad Max episode.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was crazy. I think it's interesting to see how they kind of just want to, I don't know, I guess ignore their problems at first. Like, oh, you know, we'll just go do whatever. How Summer's kind of like, eh.
It does run the family, though, ignoring your problems.
Yeah, it does. Morty's kind of like furious, like, you know, screw this. You know, Rick, he abandoned all of us, and then Summer's like, yeah, but Rick is cool, you know. It's kind of funny how they have their own different little perspectives, little, you know, siblings.
On the whole divorce and everything. I don't know, just kind of cool, just the whole, I mean, not even on a deep level, this show, but just like, because, you know, if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, you're not always going to think of how deep this show is. You're just going to be like, this show is fucking awesome, you know, because it is. But this episode was interesting because it did deal with how, like, divorce could change. It was, like, this was more of Morty and Summer, like, their development compared to the episode 3, Pickle Rick, we had to deal more with Rick and Beth. And then with episode 4, it was just not even about that. It was just kind of like
it was
its own
random.
thing.
It was
its own thing. So
yeah,
but I did like the whole Mad Max. Like all the Mad Max references were kind of cool. You know, they have lots of cool guest stars this season and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like with that episode it was kind of funny how like Summer's kind of like, eh, and it's like, okay, eventually you gotta go home. You gotta face reality every now and then, you know. You can't just run away into another portal. You can't get a portal and go somewhere else when you will need to ignore your problems or when you want to.
Even though Rick kind of thinks that's the answer to everything, but
yeah.
But and then even with Morty and the like monster arm not monster arm, but the arm he had that was like, you know, from someone else. Kind of like near the end, the whole tender moment he had with it of like the arm saying, you know, I need to face my problems, and since, you know, basically him saying you need to face yours too.
Yeah. Moving on. Yes. Lots of notes again.
Yeah, I guess anything else for episode 2 or I mean, I know it was a long time ago since episode 2 came out, but since July 30th, which is actually almost a month ago if you think about it. Well, from today when we're recording this video. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did like the whole thing with Summer and like kind of turning into like a housewife at the end of the episode.
Funny.
That was really weird.
I never expected that to happen in the episode.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen either.
Yeah, it was weird. I think next with episode 3 with Pickle Rick. I know everyone loves
Pickle Rick.
Like Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick was a great episode. It was just like. It was kind of like Tiny Rick, and I even saw articles that were like Tiny Rick versus Pickle Rick, which is better. But I think most of the time Pickle Rick got it. But this is definitely the most brutal, violent episode
Oh.
since the Purge episode from, I don't know which season, whatever season it's
I think it
from.
was season 2.
But it was just so goddamn hilarious. Just how he just decided one day, fuck everything, I'm turning myself into a pickle.
That's the randomest thing. I wonder if they were like on drugs when they thought of that.
I would love to be a writer for Rick and Morty just because I would love to be in that room when they come up with all this crazy batshit things. But, you
Just
know.
to sit there like taking notes on a pad. This is what they do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But,
Damn.
yeah. But this episode was actually very deep, too, if you really think about it. Like, I guess... Well, episode 2 was more like it was more of Morty and Summers, how they were affected by the whole divorce and everything. But this one was more of like Beth and Rick, not really the effects of the divorce, just more of just like themselves. Kind of like, especially with Beth, like, why does she trust Rick so much? He's not a good father, obviously. He's not a good grandfather, obviously, too. But it kind of goes back to why does she still put all her faith in him and stuff like that. And it's also explored, like, other than, like, you know, the craziness, especially with the therapist, Dr. Wong. I think it was Wong.
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Wong, how she was kind of like the first person to really defeat Rick at the end of the episode. Because although most of the episode he was, like, killing a cockroach, then rats, then... Somehow he got to some, like, fortress somewhere and killed people and then teamed up with Jaguar. Jaguar was so damn cool. I love Danny Trejo. He did a good job as Jaguar. But it was just kind of like, then he gets to this therapist and he's kind of like on the verge of death, basically. But the therapist gets him into saying, like, you know, yeah, I am pretty effed up and I need to do lots of things. And basically he gets defeated, which is something we would never think in a million years would happen.
Yep, indeed. Another thing, I think it's funny because most of the time when you see a character who lost like a parent, like, oh, they ran away, you think they'd be really angry, like, oh, I don't want to talk to you, you left me in the first place. But Beth is the complete opposite, which is kind of weird, but kind of interesting. It's a really good twist on the whole, oh, I lost one of my parents when I was young kind of thing.
Or maybe she's just the version of Beth that is like that. I don't know. There are infinite numbers, right? The infinite timeline. But, yeah, I mean, just like how Rick got defeated was mind-boggling. And it was just like, wow. Like, we just never would see it happen. But also, kind of like at the end of the episode, or going more towards the end, when they were driving back, and how it was obvious that Summer and Morty wanted to go back to that therapist. But of course, in the end, Beth is just like, we don't need to go. And even Rick was like, yeah, I agree. It kind of showed like how Beth is a lot like her dad in a way. Like how she just likes to ignore and just be like sweep it under the rug and just go like, let's go get
drinking.
Let's go get some drinking
too.
Yeah, let's go get some drinks at these places.
Yeah, let's go to Shoney's or this. Like,
it was cool they mentioned Shoney's, so maybe Shoney's is an actual place that...
I thought Sherry's, honestly.
But maybe Shoney's is an actual place that Rick has special memories of. Maybe that whole origin backstory that he came up with, what if some of it was true? That's what a lot of people assume, but that's just me.
Mysteries.
Yeah, mysteries. But Pickle Rick was a great episode. It's probably going to be, like, my favorite episode of the season so far. It's, like, my favorite. I mean, it was just... I mean, when everyone first heard about it, like, everyone was like, this is crazy, but... Yeah.
Yeah, he changed himself physically so he couldn't change emotionally.
Yeah, as you said, that's basically what it is. He decided, I'm effed up in the head, so I'm just going to turn myself into a pickle. Hey, maybe sometimes I want to turn ourselves into pickles.
What if everyone one day woke up and they were all pickles?
That would be scary. I wouldn't want to be out in the sun. Or I don't want cats to think I'm a snake. So.
Cats. Ooh, pickles.
But yeah, I guess let's move on to the next one. I guess the last one that just came out.
Vindicators 3. Return of the World Ender.
Yeah, when I heard Vindicators 3, I was like, where the F was Vindicators 1 and 2?
I had a blonde moment. I was like, wait, did I not watch those episodes? And I just forget. You know, like, what? Huh? And then I realized it's just a joke. There was no one.
They're just effing with us, like, oh yeah, we have like the Rick and Morty franchise, and then we have like the Vindicators franchise. Basically, like making fun of the Avengers.
Yeah. Oh my god, that episode was crazy. I don't know.
It was definitely funny though. It had its good moments. I will admit, it had its good moments. But this was actually deep too. It's kind of like we said earlier, like I said earlier, with Morty and Summer is episode 2. Beth and Rick were kind of episode 3. Episode 4 was kind of the audience perspective of like, why is it throughout all of this, why is it we still root for Rick? Because in this episode, it showed him as a villain, basically. He got effing wasted and blacked out, became like a Saw type character, or he became like Jigsaw, sawed everyone, and it's like, why is it we still root for him? And it was kind of cool because in this episode, Morty kind of represented like our conscience, like we should be saying this is all bad, but we don't. Why is it we still cheer him on? It's like because he's effing Rick Sanchez. That's why the smartest man in the universe. That's why we root for him. But it was just really cool. I loved Noob Noob. He reminded me of Mr. Poopy Butthole. Noob Noob was cool. He didn't deserve being treated the way he was, though.
No.
And, like, honestly, the best part was at the end near the end, when Morty was, like, on the little, like, kind of like It's a Small World type ride. And at the end, he's thinking it was all for him. And then Rick's like, Noob Noob, I hope you're okay. And then he's like, oh, mother effer, like, really?
I'd be mad, so man. I'd just go insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think it was kind of weird. Especially when it showed Rick passed out and his diarrhea was like everywhere. I was like, we've never actually seen like the outcome of him after drinking, and it looks so. It wasn't supposed to be funny to me. I think it was more like, whoa,
this is sad.
This is just so sad to see. Because normally it's just like, hey everyone, you know, I'm on an adventure now. I'm smarter than you. I can prove it mathematically. But he was pretty, he's pretty jacked up, and that was interesting how he's honest with himself about being screwed up. Unlike, like you mentioned earlier, unlike the Vindicators, who kind of have their ego going on, and they hide all those flaws, especially the history with the ex, and, you know.
Yeah, like, basically Rick sawed everyone so they could be honest with themselves, because we're not all perfect. Humans aren't perfect. And it's kind of like sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, and that was the problem with the Vindicators. They were kind of like putting up a farce of like, oh yeah, we're the Vindicators, look at us, and like we're gonna like, you know, we're like protectors of the universe and stuff like that. But it's like you know, Rick was basically saying BS, like that's not true. You guys aren't perfect, and he was kind of he was trying to have them like show their honest selves, you know, because it's the truth. Not really saying, oh, they're bad people exactly, but it's like no one's perfect, especially Rick.
No one is. If you're gonna be screwed up, at least be honest about it.
Yep.
The least you can do. Why not?
But it kind of goes back to, it's like we still root for him, even though Rick could easily turn to a villain any day now. But we still root for him anyway, because like the episode, at the end of the day, it's just one hell of a party.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I think it reminds us that we're kind of screwed up too. You know, like, you know, it's like, not just the characters, but even the viewers might admit, okay, I got these flaws, and I'm not the only person who might be kind of crazy, or who might be kind of weird, you know, I'm not alone. I think that's why we also like Rick a lot, because he's relatable, you know, it gives us hope that we're not alone in the world, or the whole universe, or a billion other ones. Yeah. Again, this episode had lots of good guest stars, too, especially that Logic cameo, kind of like... Yeah, I wasn't sure they'd actually have him, then I saw him, like, oh, I liked him. Christian Slater was good. Everybody was good. Even the superheroes themselves were all interesting. Like Million Ants and stuff. Like, they were all like... It was just funny. It was random. And it was great. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, we're excited for episode 5, the Rick and Jerry episode, which we're which is something, like, we forgot about Jerry in a way. Even though they've been showing clips of him, like, in his new single life. Especially with the whole, like, loser thing. Loser. Which is really funny, so... I don't know why that happens. It just happens. It's so funny, though. It's Jerry. It's supposed to happen. But, yeah, other than that, excited to see how the rest of the season progresses. So... Waiting for the next episode. I'll be sad when it's all over, but let's not think about that. It will never end. Yeah. It will never. We're just we'll get the portal out, we'll go somewhere else where it never ends. Yep. That's how it is. Sweep it under the rug, the problem. So. Yeah, ignore all your problems. Well, don't really do that, but yeah, you know what we mean. That is all, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.